Hey everybody, welcome to Rider Club Radio, the podcast all about Kamen Rider. I'm your host Jeff.
And I'm Liam.
Today we're going to be talking about Kamen Rider Drive episode 33?
Yeah? You're right. You're always so unsure about the number of the episode, but you're always right about it.
Look, I can't count one more than what the last one was. It's too difficult for me. Well, what happened in today's episode, Liam?
Today was the last episode of Drive. Shinosuke is dead. Next week we'll have...
Rip in fucking pieces.
Kamen Rider Ghost, and with that, our podcast is over. Thank you for listening.
You just gave away the fucking ending of Rider Club Radio, that we're just gonna call it quits when the show's over.
No, okay. Shinosuke is dead. Everybody is mourning Shinosuke's death. The Special Crimes Unit gets shut down, the chief shuts everything down. Krim is dead as well, and they can't get the belt off of Shinosuke's body. He's just like, the belt has been fused to Shinosuke's waist, and they're both dead. And everyone's like, oh, fuck, Kamen Rider's dead. We can't have an SCU without Kamen Rider. So they fucking pack it in. Everybody's sad. It looks like the end.
Even though they had an SCU without Kamen Rider for most of the show, they had no idea Shinosuke was Kamen Rider.
Jeff, I really wish you would stop talking sometimes. So Chase goes to the Roidmude base.
Fuck you.
No! Chase...
Fuck you!
Chase goes to the Roidmude base where 001 and his friends are hanging out. All the gang, Heart, Brain, Medic, Chase comes there, and Go, and he starts just fighting a bunch of shit. He starts fighting, and he's got a little bottle of the spray bottle because he wants to spray Go and fix him. So they start fighting, they start beating up. Go comes out, starts beating Chase up, while Freeze also beats Chase up. Chase gets beat up, and then Go turns and grabs Brain. He grabs Brain and he's like, guess what, fuckers? I was never mind-controlled. I'm also immune. I was just doing it so I could steal this iPad. And then he throws Brain off, and he makes a big explosion, and he and Chase run away. So all the Roidmude just standing there like, oh shit, well, we fucked up. We lost the iPad. So they get back together, Go and Chase, they regroup back by the lake, and Chase gives Go his blessing. Like, you're a Kamen Rider, you did the right thing, even though it was kind of tough. That's good. Go has been christened. And Go reveals to the audience after Chase leaves that on the iPad is the brain of Dr. Bano, the creator of the Roidmudes.
Dun dun dun.
And he's like, Bano, I need your help with something. I need you to help me figure out how to revive Shinosuke. He doesn't say that, but it's obvious what he was asking. So they go back to the Special Crimes Unit, they go back to the pit with the Trideron in it, and Shinosuke is set up in the Trideron. And everyone has discovered that if you have to, like, fucking connect all the shift cars together through the Trideron shift car, and then give them a jump start by driving the Trideron really fast, and then, since the belt is fused to Shinosuke, it'll jump him, like you're jumping a car battery, and it'll, like, bring him back to life. The details are fuzzy. They also find out that Mr. X was Go the whole time, because he was never mind-controlled. So there's that explanation.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, that falls right into place. So they get the shit together, they get everything together, they go to a closed track, which is the only place they're really allowed to drive the Trideron anyways, and they drive it around in a circle until they get to the desired speed, and then Freeze appears and blows the car up. And they're like, oh god, the car blows up! And then, of course, Shinosuke comes out, full-on type Trideron, triumphant music plays, he fucking kicks 001's ass, and it's revealed that he, in the process of him dying and being revived, Krim the belt has merged into Shinosuke's brain, and they both share a body now, and they could just fucking, like, take over control. They swap control whatever they want, and it's really neat when they're doing the suit acting in Type Trideron, because, like, the body language will completely change, and the way he fights totally changes. That's really cool. Like, his movements are different, and they can
2-in-1 Kamen Rider.
Switch between each other. Yeah, really. Sounds like another one I've heard about before. But they change who's in control to suit the situation. They fucking murder 001, and then they're like, yeah, we did it, and 001's like, no, I'm not the final boss, there's another one. And then he blows up. The end.
He's like, oh, you think you got revenge on me for killing your father, but once the truth comes out, it'll be a bitter pill for you. So now we have like a fucking double bluff on who killed Shinosuke's father.
It wasn't 001, apparently. I wonder if they've been planning this since they first introduced this plotline, but yeah, that's that.
Maybe. I really didn't think 001 was gonna get his fucking shit slapped for good in this episode. That was pretty sudden.
I think they had to show us how tough Type Trideron was. It was like, oh, this guy that everybody's having trouble with, now that he's got Type Trideron, he can just fucking kill him.
Last episode, you might remember that I went on a little tirade hoping that Go would break his mind control himself. And I thought that was the best solution for his dumb mind control subplot. But I stand corrected. The best solution that he was just fucking playing the Roidmudes the whole time. That is the best solution to me.
I said that.
That was classic Go. There's a moment even where they're like, we mind controlled you, and he's like, oh really? Wow. I was like, that's fucking classic Go.
I said that way back when he first did mind control on this podcast, where I was like, do you think maybe they're leading us to think he's mind controlled when really he's not? That'd be fun. And then we both thought that we were just fucking wrong about that, but it turns out that's what it was.
And it was fun.
So everything that you've been talking about, Jeff, about how, oh, we've lost our old showboat and Go, he's I'm sure he'll be back next episode now that Shinosuke is alive and everything's hunky-dory again. But he's back to his old tricks.
And he has his own Krim Steinbelt in the form of a fucking murderous psychopath in an iPad.
I'm very interested to see where that's going to go, yeah. So did you like this episode?
Yeah, I actually really did. And I will rescind my comments about Type Trideron looking goofy. In motion, the suit looks great.
Damn right. Type Trideron looks fucking great.
Yeah, I rescind all comments about it. I thought that it was going to look like footy pajamas, and in motion it looked like no such thing. It looked nothing like a Snuggie.
It's... I find that with a lot of final forms, or with new forms in general with Kamen Rider, when you see them on the page, you're like, this is kind of shit, and then in motion they look a lot better.
I will say that I was talking about Type Formula growing on me and it looking better than Type Trideron. Type Trideron looks better than Type Formula.
I like them both about the same.
I don't. Because I have taste.
Oh, okay. Alright.
You know, Liam, sometimes I wish you would shut the fuck up.
Nope! Your wish is not my command.
It was a great episode, though, and I think I said this last episode as well, but every time Chase says something, I love him even more. I never thought that I would like his character so much. But he's like a machine made only for justice now, and I love it.
Yeah, you've said that before. His characterization has totally changed. I hope he gets a little more development as the series goes on as well, because he's fun to watch.
There's actually a moment when Kiriko is supposedly blown up in the horrible fire CGI, and he screams Kiriko with like emotion and everything.
Yeah. It's
maybe his emotion that he's going to need to get to the final form or whatever is like concern or care.
Maybe compassion or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
it's probably going to be love or some stupid shit.
Some dumbass. When Shinosuke gets, quote unquote killed at the beginning of the episode, Chase is like, fucking Like, he gets really pissed off at 001. It's a nice little, like, there's a lot of little moments with Chase.
Yeah, Chase is like, no, he's my brother! I love that Chase was a robot man to begin with. His original characterization was super edgelord, so I'm sure he was your favorite.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
But he has become Machine of Justice, and he's absolutely my favorite now. Although Go might take that spot back if his showboating comes back.
Well, we'll see where Go is going. He's got the iPad now, so that's a really interesting little angle that we're going to see. I wonder if he's going to tell anybody about it.
No, fuck no. This is Kamen Rider. You don't tell people about things. They find out 20 episodes later.
People don't just talk to each other and solve their problems with words. Never. That's preposterous.
You've learned the ways of Heisei Kamen Rider. It's funny, in like Showa, there's a part in the original series where Rider 1 gets mind controlled and fights against Rider 2, and he shows up and he's like, yo, Rider 2, I'm fucking mind controlled. And Rider 2's like, holy shit! And I, as an audience member, was like, holy shit, he just told him his problem, and then they fucking resolved it together.
Now that I think is going a little too far. To have a character straight up just say, hey, I'm being mind controlled, just so you know, right? Just so we lay it all out on the table before this fight happens.
They also get rid of the mind control because they share the same wavelength of motor mind or whatever between them, so they just, like, think each other out of it.
They wirelessly interface and...
Yeah. Kamen Rider created Wi-Fi. You heard it here first.
He was pretty advanced tech for the 70s. He was a cyborg.
Yeah, that might be going too far in the other direction, but when I watched it, I was like, this is the fucking anti-Heisei right here.
I feel much the same way about you as this episode. I did like it. I did like the build-up. Like we said last week, I really wanted to see the build-up to Type Trider on more than Type Trider in itself, and it delivered. The only problem I have with this episode is, like, 100% now. There was a bit a little while ago, like, way back. This was, like, fucking, like, 15 episodes ago, where... Remember when Mach masters the dead zone?
Yes.
And can control himself, and Heart's like, oh, that's interesting. And it feels like they're setting Mach up to be Heart's rival.
No.
You didn't get that?
No, I did get that, but that's not what they're doing.
No, not anymore. That is, like, it felt like they were doing that way back, because, like, the whole point of the dead zone was so you could match Heart and, like, take him on one-on-one, and then Mach masters the dead zone so that he can use it without going out of control, and it's like, okay, that's gonna be the rivalry. And now, in the last 2 episodes, we have Heart coming back and saying, oh no, Shinosuke is my ultimate rival for some reason. He's the only one that makes me feel joy in a fight. And it's like, okay, well, fuck the secondary rider being relevant or anything. Just...
I don't think Go is the secondary rider.
Okay, well, fuck the tertiary rider having, like, a closer relationship with one of the villains than just, like...
No, fuck that noise.
That
main
sucks.
character gets everything. And it's funny because a while ago we were complaining because it seemed like Shinosuke had nothing to do with the plot.
It's totally
and now
turned
he has
around.
everything to do with the plot.
He is the plot. If anything, I'd say one of Drive's problems that it has into the second half is that most of the other characters have fallen to the wayside.
That's true.
Like,
We make
infamously...
jokes about it, but when's the last episode that Kiriko did fucking anything besides drive a car?
Yeah, Kiriko is just fucking infamous. She just sort of, like... She just walks around and does nothing. She does what the plot tells her to sometimes, but it's like... She doesn't, like, discover shit.
She almost fell down the fucking ultimate pit of Japanese secondary characters, like, blaming the main character for being killed.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the biggest fucking pet peeve I have in all of Japanese media. It's like, how dare you get killed? You promised me. I hate you now. I'm fucking dead, motherfucker. I don't care.
Oh, you lied to me. You told me you'd always protect me. Yeah,
You told me you would always be there. Well, now I'm in a fucking grave.
Yeah, that trope was on display in this episode, and that was kind of one of the faults. This episode had a couple faults. It wasn't perfect. It was good at though.
Fucking think about this entire little bit from Go's point of view. He's like, holy shit, I've got the perfect idea. I'm gonna trick these motherfuckers into thinking I'm on their side, and then I'm gonna steal this iPad right out from under them. And then Shinosuke gets fucking killed right in the middle of it. He's like, well, shit, my plan was worthless.
It's for the greater good.
I understand entirely where he's coming from when he almost throws it in the river. Like, what does it fucking matter? Big bro's dead.
Here's what I don't get. Did he not have an opportunity to steal the iPad before that point?
That very moment was the only time Brain let go of the iPad very slightly.
There was a time when they were like, him and Brain were like in a little dingy little like noodle shop together in the middle of nowhere and nobody else was around. Why didn't you fucking take it then?
You gotta eat his noodles, dude. Gotta eat those noodles.
I guess he was hungry.
He was a good actor though. He never said "Let's Henshin" once the whole time.
it
really made you think he was brainwashed.
The titanic internal struggle in his mind to resist saying "let's" every time he transforms. You have a whole series about it.
We should have a whole series about Go anyway, to make up for the fact that he's inconsequential throughout most of this one.
No, he's back. He's back and he's got an iPad, so please God, writers of Toei, please make him relevant, please.
He really could have just bashed in a window and taken an iPad. He didn't need to follow that guy around.
Well, I
guess his
understand.
dad's not on those iPads.
I understand. He has to get close. It's not totally nonsensical. It's not a stupid plan. It makes sense.
No, it was a good plan. It's just he had a million opportunities beforehand to grab it and run. He never did.
Yeah, well.
Well, he also got to beat the shit out of Chaser a bunch. Which
Secretly
he must have
enjoying it.
loved.
Yeah. One thing that's funny about that is, if you remember a few episodes back, Chaser lies to Kiriko and says, "Oh, he's not brain controlled. He's got a plan." And then
that worked out
the
great
whole time
for
he's like, "Oh God, I lied to Kiriko," and then it goes out and turns out that his lie was the truth. And I guess he was like, "Oh, thank God."
I thought he was like, "Well, everything's coming up, Chaser."
Shinosuke's dead, but that little problem is resolved.
I wonder if Chaser is going to have an ultimate evolution. I wonder, is he going to have something to do with the promise number? Because that came back this episode.
Yeah, thank God. We have more about the promise number because I assume the promise number is going to be the final big bad now that 001 is dead. And I
think the promise number might be like the number of Roidmudes that have evolved. Like a certain number of them have to evolve for them to do their ultimate global freeze or whatever.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Because
they talk about attaining the promise number.
It's true. We'd have to ask a translator to see what kind of language they use in the Japanese, if that's the exact word they use. But I believe that.
It's true. I see so often that like somebody going "Kisama" is like "you bastard," and this time it was "you foul beast."
Yeah,
when Chaser yelled at freeze, and I love that, by the way. Whoever translated that was fucking great.
Yeah, they changed. Kisama is used a lot, and they change it to fit the scene sometimes, which is fine. It's far from a sub-crime.
A sub-crime? We're the special crimes unit for subs.
Every time I hear them talking about the promised number, I'm always racking my brain thinking of, like, what is a special number between 1 and 108? And I always think 000, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, wait, Chase is 000. Could it be 108, maybe? Could it be 88? Who fucking 100? Who knows? I don't know.
And
you might be right.
Please do not write us in saying it's fucking 69. We've heard the joke. We don't need to hear it again.
We've heard the joke in our minds, yeah.
I've heard the joke when I wrote it for this episode.
Have we seen Roidmude 69 yet?
No.
No. Maybe we'll never see
I think the Japanese know
They're
69.
That sounds like something that like an early Heisei series would do in like 2002 or something. But they're probably, they're conscientious enough that they wouldn't do it now. I'm sure. They're better.
Next episode, Roidmude 069 attacks.
Yeah.
Lashing tongue ability.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Drive 33. We got our final form finally.
Actually, I wanted to say there's a really great moment where Captain Hangaji,
the chief,
is talking to Nira about shutting everything down, and Nira's like, "Is this some sort of joke to you or something?" And the chief loses his fucking shit and just puts Nira right in his place. And as much as I love Nira, that was such a great scene.
And it's not a goofy losing of his shit. He's like, no, it's not a joke. Somebody's dead, you fucker. Like, he's really pissed.
He's mad as fuck, and he's not gonna take it anymore. He is 4'3" of angry. And he's gonna show everybody.
It's nice to see the chief acting like an actual human being and not like a constant clown. So that's cool.
I like that even though he's become more of a serious character, he's still a goofy clown, like it wasn't an act. That's who he actually is.
Yeah.
And that was nice.
Yeah. So, verdict? Thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Actually, my favorite scene in the whole episode is a scene that actually made me feel like... I didn't think anything in this episode was going to make me feel intense sadness in the sub-cockles of my heart.
Not just the cockles, but the sub-cockles.
The deepest cockles of my heart. But there is a scene where Gen is like swearing revenge for Shinosuke and like breaks down crying, and it sounds like real fucking crying. He does a really good job. And I was like, Gen, you're breaking my fucking heart, dude.
Yeah,
breaking my heart.
When they're in the morgue and he slams the table. That was a good scene.
Yeah, that was great. I wasn't expecting that level of bravado from a Kamen Rider series, that artisticness.
Yeah, despite the fact that Drive's characters are sort of irrelevant and sort of sidelined, there are a lot of good character moments throughout the show.
Somebody pointed out that when they pull the curtain thing away at the morgue to show the belt is still attached to his waist, they somehow had to get his suit on him underneath the belt.
I was gonna ask
they put him in the car.
How did they fucking dress him with the belt fused to him?
I don't know.
Magic. I don't know. Don't ask questions.
Somebody also pointed out that everybody looks away after a second while he's holding the sheet up with the belt, but Rena continues to stare directly at his crotch for the entire scene.
She's lonely.
She never looks away.
Rena's lonely. We've established that.
Disgusting. Yeah, A+ episode though. I liked it.
I don't know about A+. I'd say
it was an A.
I'd say it was like an A- maybe. It was good.
I give it an A. I'm not gonna give it a minus. I'm not a shithead.
Okay, I'll be the harsh one and say A-. It's the problems I have with Drive aren't so much with its individual episodes, but with its overarching stuff that I've already talked about with its characters.
Yeah, I wonder where we're gonna go next episode. We sort of cleared up all the subplots at this point.
We've got Bano.
We've got Bano as a new subplot that we've just started this episode, and, maybe Heart, Medic, and Brain will do something.
We got Bano, and we're staying on the whole who killed Shinosuke's father arc, which I feel like is getting kind of tired.
Yeah, it was solved, and it was done in such a roundabout way that I can't see how they could insert a third person into the scene. There was a bullet that shot out and it went into Shinosuke's dad's shoulder, and then he got his mind erased or whatever, and now he's dead. And Freeze somehow did something, and he's the one that actually killed him.
Well, he didn't get his mind erased. That's why Freeze killed him, because he couldn't erase him.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I think
who the fuck killed... At what point could he have been killed by anyone else?
Here's what I think. I think the writers genuinely intended for Freeze to be the perpetrator. But now the whole Tamari's father and who killed him is their fallback for when they don't know what to do. It was the same, the original plot that, maybe 001 did it, that original subplot when everybody started hinting at that, came along right at that halfway point when Drive had no plot and it was just starting to pick up. That was what they did. So maybe they're oh no, we ended it too early and we don't know what to do with Shinosuke to have him emotionally invested, so we have to have the dad plot go on more and more and more.
Maybe.
That's why I say it's
they'll
A-.
pull it out. Maybe they'll pull it out on us, and it'll actually make total fucking sense. We were joking last time about Mr. X and how fucking convenient it was that they got that information and how it was obviously a trap, and they pulled that shit out on us. It was Go the whole time. He never lost his mind. He never got brainwashed. And that was a cool fucking little reveal.
That was a really good moment in this episode, yeah. So I'm hoping the Drive's writers have been consistently pleasantly surprising.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of worried about, I don't even know how they're going to do this in a way that makes it satisfying, because it's, the fucking thing is resolved, man. We killed the guy responsible. Tamari killed the dude responsible. What are you going to do? There's another dude responsible. What happens when he's dead? There's a fucking fifth guy.
Wouldn't it be funny if Freeze was just doing that as one last fuck you to Shinosuke? Haha, I'm not really the one that killed him. Find the real one. Then he dies. And Shinosuke spends the rest of the series trying to find the killer and never does because it was fucking Freeze.
Searching for his whole fucking life. That's sadistically hilarious.
We are fucking worse villains than the Roidmudes. So yeah, it was. I'll give it an A. Liam will give it an A-. I guess we're fucking rating these episodes now. Whatever.
Well, general opinion. I'd say B+ actually.
Damn.
I've awakened my gripe with that fucking father subplot. I'm gonna say B+. It's a bit of a drop.
We need to get off this subject before this episode fails the fucking class.
The more we talk about it, the lower it goes. Let's go on something else. What's the news?
News is fucking slim pickings this time around.
Yeah, nothing happened this week.
We will link below this video, actually below
In the blog
audio
post.
on the blog post.
As
We'll link.
usual.
There's a video of a little, like, stage show announcement that some of the Kamen Rider Gaim people have done in order to advertise for Gaim Gaiden 2.
Yeah, it doesn't reveal a single thing about Gaim Gaiden 2. It's just all the actors come out in costume, and they're like, yeah, Gaim Gaiden 2, it's about Duke, and it's about Zack, and yeah, we don't have anything to show you, but please be excited.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's...
Please watch our show.
I mean, some toys came out, but that's the closest we got to news this week.
Actually, the Tokusatsu Network did an interview with the actor that played Kamen Rider V3.
Oh, I saw that.
And,
V3.
yeah, I retweeted that, and I think I reblogged it on the Tumblr as well, but that's actually a really cool interview. He talks a lot about meeting foreign fans and the legion of fans that he found when he went on a tour in Hawaii, and how much it, like, choked him up to see so many, like, foreign people singing the V3 theme song in Japanese when they probably didn't even understand it.
That's very
It's a
touching.
really great interview.
Yeah, I'll link that. There's no news regarding Kamen Rider Ghost. Please be excited. Please wait a little longer.
Please understand.
Please understand.
Kamen Rider Ghost is going to be the best series that has ever come out in Kamen Rider history. So says everything that we've read about it.
So says Liam Soji.
If you go back in time, you might hear something about that, about Drive. If you go back a little bit more, you'll hear that about Gaim.
Alright, we got mail this week.
Our first question is from Cyberman Worf. You are prolific, my friend. We appreciate it. He says, still enjoying the podcast and also still liking the direction Drive is going at the moment. I am quite interested to see how things are going to work with Nira properly working with SCU. Yeah, when SCU gets reformed next episode, I'm really interested to find out how Nira is going to fit into that puzzle as well.
Yeah.
You sound psyched about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Look,
What is this fucking show we're talking about right now?
that one with the red guy who does the transform, I don't know. I'm just still a bit miffed about Nira not being a dickhole anymore. I'm gonna miss that.
He might be. He might change his fucking tune again. You don't know.
He might be. We'll wait.
My question for you guys is that when they get to the next 10th Rider season, do you think they will do another form of Decade, or will they just do another normal season?
Like the 20th Heisei season?
Yeah, I think they're going to do a bunch of fucking movies that have Decade in them, but I don't think they're going to do another series like Decade.
Is Inoue still going to be acting as Decade at that point, do you think? Do you think he'll still be willing to come back?
What the fuck else is he gonna do? He just gets other roles in Toku at this point.
Yeah.
He's just gonna go right around that big fucking circle and end up playing Decade and everything again.
It's every agency's nightmare. It's the reason you have people like Godai and almost every main writer actor who, like, the second their contract is up, their agency comes forward and they're like, okay, no more Kamen Rider. They're not coming back.
Yeah,
because
the guy who played Gintaro in Forze is kind of infamous for that. Not himself, but his agent refuses to allow him to have anything to do with Kamen Rider again, even though he would really love to come back.
Yeah, most people who play main writers say that it was fun and they'd like to do it again, but, like, if you do it too much, you end up like Inoue, where you're just Toku for the rest of your life. Which I guess it's not a fate worse than fucking death, but, I mean, as an actor...
Dude, that sounds awesome to me.
I think as a professional actor, like, look at the guy that played Yusuke Godai, right? Like, he's really successful. He's made a pretty good name for himself. He's a real actor in movies and shit. I think that's what an actual actor wants to be. They want to have diverse roles and stuff.
He's a real actor in, like, mid-range budget movies. He's not, like, a big-name actor.
I would say that's still above Toku. I'd say that's climbing the ladder.
Yeah, he's not one of the fucking Wiggles or whatever. He's in, like, real television shows. In movies.
Yeah. But, like, that is what everybody is looking for when they try and abandon Rider. They're like, I want to be like the guy that played Yusuke Godai. I want to do shit.
They mostly just don't do fucking anything after they get out of Toku.
That's sad.
They open up a restaurant.
Well, do you think we're gonna have a Kamen Rider Decade 2, Kamen Rider 20,
Double decade?
Kamen Rider Dub Decade?
No.
No?
I don't think they're going to do that again. I think they might do something... I don't even think they're going to do something similar. They
Really?
might do something in the same way that Super Sentai had Akka Red, who was like the combined courage of all the Red Rangers that had ever lived, and he like brought all the Red Rangers together.
Yeah, I was thinking...
Like, they might do something like that, but I don't think they're going to do something like Decade, where some dickhead beats the shit out of all your favorite characters for 50 episodes.
Well, Decade as a formula just doesn't fucking work for Rider. Because it's the same thing with, like, Gokaiger is like that formula done well, but if you do it with Sentai, you've got, like, 3 to 5 people to pick from every season. But if you do it with Rider, there's only one Kamen Rider Kuuga, there's only one Kamen Rider Black, right? So,
Yeah,
what do you
you're
fucking
not
do?
going to get any of those fucking actors back. Like, it was difficult enough for Decade that they scrapped the entire idea of having him going through the actual worlds and made them alternate realities because they couldn't get any of the fucking actors to come back.
Yeah, there's no
Think
way.
about trying to do that in fucking 10 years.
When you're trying to get 20 people, you think Gaku Sano is going to come back? I don't think so.
Gaku Sano is too busy playing fucking mafia hitmen in Gangsterland movies.
I love that picture of him when he's dressed up all like the Yakuza. It's like, it almost makes you forget the fact that Gaku Sano is like 5'1".
Gaku Sano standing next to the chief. I wonder which one of them's taller.
He's athletic as fuck, but he's quite short.
Yeah, he had to make up for it somehow.
I love you, Gaku Sano. Please don't hurt me.
He would jump up to your height and punch you right in the face.
He would do a backflip off of the wall, and then when he came down, would like fucking axe kick me in the shoulder.
You writing your own fanfiction here, or what?
Yeah, already written. You don't want to mess with that guy.
Let's move on to another email.
Okay, let's talk about this one sent by a fella named Rangulf. He says, "Hey guys, loving the show. It's always a treat to listen to your podcast after watching the latest Kamen Rider episode." Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
I hope you guys plan to continue this show for quite some time. I know how you feel about episode 47 of Gaim, but considering the Gaim and Drive crossover movie is a direct sequel, how do you feel about them continuing the story of Gaim any further at all? Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's weird that we're still getting, like, Gaim-related stuff. Like, that movie was strange, and that it's like, Kamen Rider Drive teams up with, Jesus, and Jesus turns into a funny fruit man and acts goofy.
Well, there's an explanation. There's like an alien, I think it's called Megahex, that takes his powers away and turns him back into normal Coda for a little bit.
Yeah, if you have to make some weird giant Deus Ex Machina in order to make a movie, you probably shouldn't make it. The movie itself isn't bad, I will say that. But I'm not sure they should have continued Gaim's story, at least not with Gaim himself. Like,
Yeah,
he could still play a role, but it's like that... We talked about this before, the final episode of Gaim, where, like, Coda comes back as Space Jesus, and he and Michi transform and fight Fruit Jam, or whatever the fuck.
Fucking movie writer returned, yeah.
Yeah.
God, 47.
And that episode's awful anyway, but how fucking weird is it that he just transforms and fights? What was that necessary? Couldn't you just wave your hand and send him into an evil tree dimension or whatever?
I don't know. It's an unfortunate thing with Kamen Rider, because like it's like you can't just look at Toei and be like, don't make that movie, because they would look at you like you had fucking lobsters crawling out of your ears. Of course they're gonna make the movie if they have an opportunity to put more toys on the shelves. Of course they're gonna make the movie, and that's kind of the problem. Is like they can't leave a good successful story alone because it's a business as much as it is an art.
If you try to talk them out of making that movie, they're not going to hear you over the sound of the cash registers ringing in their ears. They need to make that money.
They can't see past the big yen symbols in their eyes. Like, it's just...
There's a reason why the only person that they deal with in America is Haim Saban. They got the same fucking business sense. I want my money,
I want all that money back. Yeah.
I want my money. I want it.
So, if you want an answer, how do you feel about continuing the story of Gaim? I'd really rather they just didn't. Like, it's over. All the Sengoku drivers are fucking destroyed. What are you gonna do? Like,
Gaim Gaiden is a good way to get more mileage out of it, I think. To have, like, little side stories about secondary characters that could have happened in the span of the actual series.
yeah, there are enough gaps in Gaim's story that you can fit a bunch of those in and add a little more depth when they're not fucking stupid like Barons. But, like, it's got potential as an idea, not so much in its execution. But yeah, if you're gonna expand Gaim's world, I think that's better. But, like,
I agree.
in a perfect world, just fucking leave it alone. It's good. It's good as it is, I think.
And Randolph also asks, on that end, would you guys be reviewing old and new Rider movies as well? Please say yes. I'd like to get your opinion on O's times Forza Movie War Megamax. Thanks and keep up the awesome. Yeah.
Sure.
Anytime we watch a movie, we'll talk about it on the podcast. We might go out of our way once or twice to watch one of them together. Because we actually watched this episode of Drive together, which is the first one we actually sat down and watched together.
Yeah, we usually watch it separate, but this time we did the thing together, and it was a nice experience.
We totally cuddled. It was great.
The social link level went up. It was good. So yeah, movies, I would absolutely love to do some movies sometime.
Yeah, I haven't seen Megamax in a few years, so I'd have to watch it again if we were going to talk about it. But we might just randomly pick some Rider movie and watch it and decide to talk about it.
Yeah, like Shin.
You watched Shin recently, as a matter of fact.
I watched Shin like 10 weeks ago. I'm down to watch it again. I still have it. I never got rid of it.
Jesus Christ. Well, we're not going to do that next episode, but at some point.
Shin is on the table always.
It's just always on the fucking table. It's just sitting there in its fucking box.
Let's escape from Shin as fast as possible. Let's go to the next mail.
Alright, this is from our friend Graham again. He says, do you think Amazon Killer from Sun Vulcan could beat Kamen Rider Amazon? No.
Alright, we have another mail from Timothy Young, who says, hello guys, love your podcast. Keep up the good work. Thanks, bud. If you had to be the monster of the week for any series, which would you choose and what would your gimmick be? Personally, I would be in Double and I would have the Ocean Gaia memory. What about you, Jeff? What do you think?
I've thought about this extensively while bathing. But if I could be any monster of the week, you know how in Kamen Rider Double Forever, A to Z, the Gaia Memories of Fate, we get to see each of the Double Driver memories as a dopant. Except Joker. Joker is the only one we don't because Shotaro becomes Kamen Rider Joker. Ever since then, I have been obsessed with what the fuck would the Joker dopant look like. I need it. And there have been some artist rendition. There's like one that's pretty much agreed upon as what it would look like because the Cyclone dopant, half of its face is Rider-like. It has like a bug eye and like a mask mouth on half of its face, and then it goes Willy Wonka on the other side. And so Joker would be the opposite side, like that. But that's what I would want to be. I would want the Joker Gaia memory and become Joker dopant.
That's a good choice.
Barring that, I want to be a grasshopper kaijin of some sort.
Of course.
And ride a motorcycle and have a scarf. I want to be that series throwback to the original Kamen Rider, but an evil monster mash.
Be like a shocker rider?
No, like, there's a Grongi and Kuuga. There's two of them, actually, that are grasshoppers with scarves that ride motorcycles. And somewhat based on Rider 1, and then one later on that's somewhat based on Rider 2. And then in Double, there was a grasshopper dopant, even, who was, like, obsessed with justice. Some perverted sense of justice. That would be me. I would be a grasshopper monster man.
Yeah, it sounds like you.
Fuck you. What would you be?
I would want to be a cyborg monster from Stronger, because they were really fun. They're like, the cool thing about the cyborg monsters from Stronger is that you put a little spider into somebody's ear, like a little cyborg robot spider, alien thing, and then they're like infected with your cyborg monsterness, and they turn into the cyborg monster. It's been a while since I've seen Stronger. I'm not 100% certain of the logistics of it. Stronger was like the very first Rider series I ever finished, so it's back there. But I think that's really neat that you could like You could just, like, be a little spider and just, like, go into somebody's brain and then turn them into a fucking, like, duck-billed platypus mutant robot. That's what I would want to be, the duck-billed platypus. Because he'd just be messed up.
That sounds like you.
Just a perversion of evolution.
Sounds like you.
Wow, oh, okay. You're turning it around.
That's right. Turnabout's fair play, motherfucker. Learned that from Apollo Justice.
Not even Phoenix, eh?
Not even Phoenix. Not good enough to learn from Phoenix, right?
But yeah, duck-billed platypus cyborg mutant in the ear of like I don't know, like an athlete or someone you wouldn't expect, like a hockey player. Imagine like mid hockey game, you like do a little spin around, and suddenly he's a big duck-billed platypus, like picking up hockey players and throwing them on the ground.
I would be afraid.
God, that'd be awesome. Yeah, so that'd be my monster of the week.
Oh, I want to point out that Timothy, who asked us that question, also said, titled his email, "Questions for the 5th best podcast on the internet." We're moving up. We're number fucking 5.
I was gonna say them's fighting words, but yeah, if you're happy to be 5th, so am I.
Yeah, I was worried that the president of podcasts were going to shut us the fuck down, so I'm glad that we're moving up.
Alright, that's all the mails we got.
All the mails we're going to get to. Thank you for sending in mails, everybody. We appreciate it.
Yes, as usual. You breathe life into this podcast, and we love it. Now, this week, I started watching Kamen Rider Kuuga on the recommendation...
My suggestion.
Yeah, on the recommendation of Jeff and half of the rest of the Rider fan base. I started watching Kuuga, and I've only watched 3 episodes so far. I sort of waited a little while after finishing Kabuto before starting Kuuga, because I was watching Daredevil, but that's a different story. I've only seen a bit of Kuuga. Holy shit! I am not regretting starting Kuuga. It's great.
Kuuga is so fucking great. I've never seen anything that made me so invested in a character so quickly.
That's
like,
it.
By the 3rd episode, I was like, this guy's my favorite guy ever.
That's
Bar
it.
none. That's
it's
it.
fucking, like, usually with Rider, or at least with, like, Heisei Rider, you watch for a side character or a group of side characters that you really like Kagami or Zack or what have you. And it's like, in Kuuga, it's like, no, it's fucking Yusuke is the guy. He's the fucking guy. He's the coolest.
I mean, as the series goes on, you're gonna grow attached to Ichijo, the cop, as well.
Yeah, I've seen bits.
He's a great character.
Ichijo is very prominent, yeah. But I haven't seen him do much.
Godai is still... Every time you tune in, it's like, what's Godai gonna get up to today? You're just excited.
I think what I like a lot about it is, like, it's obvious that it's a big turning point between Showa and Heisei, because in a lot of ways it sort of has a tone of a Showa show, or at least a late Showa show, where there's a bit of, like, it's got, like, a sort of pseudo-horror movie vibe.
Yeah, it does.
The Bat Grongi and the Spider Grongi, and this some stuff that's a little fucked up, like some violent stuff. People die on screen.
That's true.
Like,
there is some violence.
There's a bit early on where people are, like, watching some people being killed by a Grongi while they have a camera on them, and the screams are pretty disturbing. Kuga's got some shit in it. But I think that's part of the draw of it, is you have the world that's kind of bleak with the violent Grongis and the police that are kind of bureaucratic and all that, and who want to fight Kuuga because they don't know who he is. But you have Yusuke Godai himself in the center of it, Kuuga, who is like this shining light of kindness, and he's just so...
I love him.
He's such an unwavering spirit, and he's so likable. He
is. And I think the thing about it being, like, darker and everything is that it makes you feel the stakes in a way that other Rider series don't. I mean, shit gets tense in Ryuki as it continues along. And you feel the stakes for those characters, but you don't feel the stakes for the world.
Yeah, because
in the same way.
Ryuki's story is condensed. It's never about the fate of the world. It's about the fate of the characters. But with Kuuga, it's a little...
The body count gets fucking ridiculous in Kuuga sometimes. Like, the Grongi are hunting humans for sport, and Kuuga can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
And you actually really grow... You love Godai anyway because he's such a great character, but you grow to respect him for all he does. Like, he doesn't just perk up and run off and show up at the scene, like, at the same exact time that the murder was about to happen, which happens a lot in later Heisei series. He has to fucking drive there, across town, and he's putting it all on the line to try to save people, try to protect people's smiles.
Yeah, he's a beautiful character. His thumbs up is immaculate.
It makes you want to thumbs up more. You know you're being a cheesy fucking goof every time you do it, but you just want to thumbs up more. There's actually a character arc involving one of Godai's teachers from when he was young that explains where that thumbs up comes from and why it became his symbol and everything. It's one of the best arcs in the show. It's actually pretty early, if I remember. It's in the teens.
Yeah, I've heard about that arc, but obviously I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you haven't got there yet, but you learn about the purpose of the symbol and everything, and it's a beautiful moment.
Godai, I think that they make you fall in love with him early. There's the bit in episode 1 where he's going to the archaeological dig site where they dig up the belt, and there's all the workers around and the police around, and Godai's like, oh, I gotta sneak in, how am I gonna sneak in? And he just like power walks towards the site, and when somebody important sees him, he's like, oh, sorry I'm late, boss, just gonna go right into the site right now, and they stop him, they're like, oh, hang on, motherfucker, you don't work here. It's like he's just he's a fun character like that.
He is.
I love him.
He's a goofball. He has 1,000 different special abilities, you know.
What do you mean? Is he like Zubat, where he's number one at everything?
No, he could be. He's number one in my heart. But throughout the series, he talks about his it might not even be 1,000, but it's like 1,000 special skills, and like one of them is the ability to do stomp. Like, fucking turn garbage cans over and play drums and shit on them. That's one of his abilities. And learning about his 1,000 abilities is great. Throughout the series, I'm sure you don't learn about all of them. I don't remember that, but you learn about a lot of them, and they're all fun.
Yeah, there's always an excitement when you start a new Kamen Rider series, and I'm very excited to continue with Kuuga. It's great.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Kuuga, watch it along with Liam. I'm sure he's going to be talking about it more as the series goes on. You can fucking keep up with the second show with him if you want. I'm actually kind of thinking about going back and watching Kuuga again since we started talking about it.
This week we were going to talk about something that a lot of people have asked us about over the last few weeks in emails and stuff.
Yeah, we've talked about it before.
Yeah, our Kamen Rider Tabletop.
Yeah, a tabletop game called Mutants and Masterminds. And people who have tried to play Mutants and Masterminds with Kamen Rider have run into the same roadblocks that we did when we first started out, and that it's not made for that shit at all. But it's so adaptable that you could pretty much play anything with superpowers in with that system. You just have to house rule a lot of things, and you'll have to make rules according to what you run into as you play. But we'd like to give you like a little quick run-through of the type of rules that we've put together that have helped us do 2 Kamen Rider games, one that we're almost done with and one that we finished a while back.
Alright, this part ended up being a lot longer and more rambling than we expected, so if you want to learn about Mutants and Masterminds, just check the blog post. It's there in a text file thing. Back to the podcast. Of course, these are, ours aren't universal, that's why they're called house rules, because they differ from house to house, so your group might like different shit, but this is what we used, and we found that it worked pretty well. So if you want to start with like a baseline and see how that goes, try that stuff. Maybe I'll include them in a little link in the blog post so you can just check them all out, all in text.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of giving you guys free shit, I mentioned on Twitter a couple times that I was going to put together all of the eye catches that I created for the YouTube videos. All the wallpapers and everything, I was going to, resize them wallpaper size and release them on Tumblr. I'll link to it on Twitter, the next blog post. That should be up for you guys by the next episode.
Sick. I'm going to use those.
You have no idea how awesome it will feel to know that people are using Rider Club Radio wallpapers. Take a fucking photograph of your fucking home screen, send it to me. I want to see my subpar silhouette artwork in the background behind all your porn folders.
Can't wait. See it. Make sure those porn folders are front and center, though.
Yeah, do the shit where people leave up really incriminating shit just on the edges of the screen and stuff. I want to see that.
All right.
I always love that.
We have a Twitter at Rider Club Radio. We've got an email, riderclubradio@gmail.com. Shoot us a tweet. Please follow us on Twitter. Shoot us an email. Look at the URL to the Twitter longingly. Do whatever you want with it.
I think what he's trying to say is we would really enjoy it if you followed us on Twitter. But yeah, send us some more emails with questions in them. We love questions. And I'd hate to fucking sound like I'm talking bad about people who send in, like, their ideas and thoughts on series and everything. We might read that on the show as well. I love reading what you guys think about Kamen Rider. It warms the subcockles of my heart in a way that Kamen Rider Drive only has before now.
Yeah, if you send us your comments on stuff, we'll read it, but we just might not read it on the podcast. The podcast is for questions, mainly.
Yeah, we appreciate everything you guys send in, though. Like I said, reading it does warm my heart, because I didn't really know anybody that liked Kamen Rider when I first got into it. I had to get everyone I know into it. I had to force it on all of them.
Yeah, Jeff got me into Kamen Rider.
So I don't even have to get you guys into it. I can just talk to you about it. That's the coolest shit ever. So yeah, send it on in. Questions, comments, whatever. I want to hear them.
Whatever you got.
Thanks for listening to the podcast as well. We really appreciate that. Anyway, have a good week, everybody.
See you.